Tonight, Prime Minister Alan Shasney is not letting up with his snubs and apparent disdain to a journalist and news editor Janika Simon.
2018 and the projections for 2019.
In terms of support to farmers, the ministers are agreed to each do
And Surrey Canry's MP Dominic Fede questions whether the millet minibus drivers' partial strike is politically motivated, and a driver fires back. And why one minister cautions St. Lucia not to be too quick to follow the lead of countries that have decriminalized cannabis. The details of these stories and more are coming up.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovely and Amy Joseph.
Good night. It is Tuesday, the 17th of September 2019. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. We're on Flow, channel 117, also being simulcast on KISS FM. You can also watch on our website. It's www.caribbeanhottv.com or on our free Caribbean Hot FM mobile app. I'm Lovely St. Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. Tropical Depression 10 has formed in the Atlantic and could become a hurricane Friday as it nears the outermost Caribbean islands. The system is about 1,165 miles east-southeast of the Leeward Islands. It is moving west-northwest at 12 miles per hour. The forecast track shows the system approaching the northern Leeward Islands by Thursday night or Friday. It will likely be a hurricane by then. Meanwhile, the Hurricane Center said it expects Hurricane Humberto to lash Bermuda with high winds and heavy rain later this week. The center said Monday that the hurricane had strengthened and could become a major hurricane by Tuesday night or Wednesday morning. The Bermuda Weather Service has issued a tropical storm watch for the island. In other news, Prime Minister Alan Shasney once again snubs news editor Janika Simon during a pre-parliament media scrum on Tuesday morning. Government Minister Stephenson King and SLP's Castries South MP Dr. Ernest Hilaire weigh in, taking a more measured approach. Rochelle Gonzalez reports.
Prime Minister Alan Shasney has done it again.
Can you comment on the CDB's downgrade of St. Lucia's economic performance for 2018 and the projections for 2019?
In terms of support to the farmers, the ministers are agreed to each do 100,000. Has there been any decision to?
That was news editor Janika Simon being blanked out by the PM for the third time, showing no interest in easing the growing tensions between the media and the government of St. Lucia. Prime Minister Shasney seemed unfazed as he ignored Simon as she attempted to get answers out of him. Moments after, the former Prime Minister and leader of the United Workers' Party, Stephenson King, lent his thoughts on the matter. King said now is the time for mutual respect, as there is no space for such disunity.
If that tension is existing, I would love to act as a mediator and intervene to bring the media and the Prime Minister together. I do not believe that in a system of democracy there is need for any tension. I would hope that's not the case. But I believe there must be cordiality, there must be respect, mutual respect and understanding, and to understand that the media has a role to play in as far as being able to have the alternative viewpoint and to extract that viewpoint from the politician, whether it's the government or the opposition.
One person who was not as diplomatic with his words was Castries South MP Dr. Ernest Hilaire. Dr. Hilaire said the PM's behavior is anything but surprising, as he has demonstrated his tendencies for the world to see on numerous occasions.
I mean, I think we all know it's grossly disrespectful. Grossly disrespectful. But again, we have to put it in context. This is a Prime Minister that called people jackasses, talk about backing dogs. And even in Parliament, which showed that he has a history, a tendency to disregard anybody who would offer any contrary view to him. You've seen his performance in Parliament. I don't think the media should be surprised that the Prime Minister will be disdainful, he'll be disrespectful, and he'll have no regard for the media or the people of St. Lucia for that matter. I'm not surprised. You cannot imagine in a democracy in this century that people still believe they can treat the media, with scant regard and disrespect. The media has tremendous power, and the media is so important to us in our democracy. Maybe if the media starts selling its back on the Prime Minister, you probably understand what it means to disrespect people.
The incident occurred on the morning of Tuesday, the 17th of September. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Rochelle Gonzalez.
The parliamentary representative for Labrie, Alva Baptiste, does his best to assure the media that the St. Lucia Labour Party respects them and would never treat them in the same manner as Prime Minister Alan Chasney and some of his government ministers. However, with a history of being rebuffed by former SLP leader Dr. Kenny Anthony, the media is questioning, are his assurances believable?
Words of assurance are coming in from the first deputy leader of the St. Lucia Labour Party, Alva Baptiste, following an incident which occurred during a pre-parliament media scrum. The incident occurred when news editor Janica Simon was blanked out by Prime Minister Alan Chasney as she questioned him. When informed of the PM's actions, Baptiste said this sort of behaviour would not happen under an SLP administration.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. The St. Lucia Labour Party respects the media, and we believe that the media is a fundamental part of our democracy. This is why Dr. Anthony, during the period 1997 to 2006, encouraged the proliferation of talk shows and people to give expression to their views and their ideas. We have never tried to stifle public opinion. We have never sought to torture people for honest opinion. This is why even when Mr. Elliott came to the press conference, and obviously with a different agenda to what we had for our press conference, I treated him with respect. I was very patient in my engagement with him. I think the Prime Minister ought to understand that this country does not belong to him, and he ought to respect the social partners of this country. He must appreciate that people will have views that may not always be in consonance with his, and therefore he must not view the media and other social partners as sectoral irritants, but as logical participants and active participants in building a better St. Lucia.
The Labrie MP's words were followed up with a blindsiding rebuttal from the media. He was questioned about the behavior of former Prime Minister and SLP leader Dr. Kenny Anthony, who is well known for not even entertaining the media with impromptu interviews. Baptiste attempted to explain that Dr. Anthony's approach is different to that of the PM's.
You see, sometimes to advance you take a strategic retreat. And I think it's a personal matter for Dr. Anthony. I mean, he will decide how he engages with people in the community at large. I don't think it is indicative of anything to do with he has no regard for the media. I think he does, so it's not a symptom of anything. It's just that Dr. Anthony would speak sometimes, and one must respect his privacy as well.
Whether the MP's words of assurance will be accepted or not is left to be seen. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Rochelle Gonzalez.
Ancillary Canneries MP Dominic Fede says due to the lack of dialogue between his administration and the Millet Minibus Association, he questions the true motive of the association, especially its president, Cyprian Yard. Fede highlights that both affected areas are under UWP administration and urges the media to investigate any political aspects of the ongoing partial strike, as he highlights Yard's background with the SLP.
For the past week, members of the Millet Minibus Association have pressed on with partial strike action, halting services to the areas of Bel Air and Venus Estate. Ancillary MP Dominic Fede questions the true motives behind the action of the association. He claims that it is questionable, given that the previous administration faced no such repercussions for the same road conditions. The MP suggests that the media should investigate the underlying politics of the issue, particularly given that Cyprian Yard heads the Millet Minibus Association.
I did ask the president squarely, what is the motive? You will observe that he was one of the candidates in a runoff in the previous general elections for the St. Lucia Labour Party. I leave you to make the connection, whether there is any at all. But these kinds of actions are unfortunate, and I think you have to take into consideration the well-being of consumers.
He claims that the severity of the situation in the areas is being exaggerated and that road conditions in the area are better than they were under the previous SLP administration.
It's quite unfortunate. We've done significant work with the Millet roads. In fact, the road from Roseau to Valley is the best it has ever been. I think you live along that road. The road from the Derando community, if you go from the field all the way to there's a bar in the Derando area, you would see that this is the best it has been, because no longer are we patching the roads in these areas that have been forgotten. We've actually paved them.
The MP urges members of the community, including minibus drivers, to stay abreast with current development programs which will impact the transportation in the area.
The Venus Road, as the Minibus Association knows very well, is on the DBRP project, which is the Disaster Vulnerability Mitigation Project. And it goes from Venus to Ancillary, and it's the road that connects there. So the administrative requirements for that section of that is a little more onerous, and it's taking a little more time. But, I mean, we have announced all of the projects that we will be doing, so works are afoot.
Fede says his greatest concern is the impact of this action on members of the community who rely on the service of association members, and urges President Cyprian Yard to acknowledge the inconvenience placed on consumers. For Hot 7 News, I am Jacques Wooding.
The suspension in service to the Bel Air and Venus communities by Millet minibus drivers has forced the hand of MP Guy Joseph to provide a bus in the interim before the Bel Air Road is resurfaced, while MP Dominic Fede is crying foul, alluding to the strike action being orchestrated for political motives. However, one Millet driver has rejected that statement and says the issue cannot and will not be swept under the rug. Solange Alfred reports.
Plying the route of Castries to Millet for over 20 years is Millet bus driver Joseph Henry. When he found out about statements made by MP for Ancillary Dominic Fede in response to the strike action, Henry was not in agreement. Fede's words, though subtle, seemingly alluded to political motives by President of the Millet Minibus Association, Cyprian Yard, being the impetus propelling the strike action.
One has to really ask themselves, what is the motive? And I did ask the president that squarely, what is the motive? You will observe that he was one of the candidates in the runoff in the previous general elections for the St. Lucia Labour Party. I leave you to make the connection, whether there is any at all.
So, was the strike action by the Millet Minibus Association politically motivated? Henry says drivers and commuters should visit Venus Estate and see for themselves the condition of the road.
From the time I'm on that route, we never have a good road. We always have part of the road good, part of it not good. Like for instance, the Bel Road, that's a problem over how many years and everything. And then we have speak to we have go to the ministry, we have meeting with the engineer and the oil them and everything. And then up to now, because last time we decided, okay, we were going to put a strike because we wanted the Millet Road to fix. So they had the meeting with us, we sit down with the engineer, CO William and everything, and they said, okay, they were going to fix part of the Millet Road. And then it's like CO William was going to Baba Green it, and then the rest they were going to do pothole fix. Up to now, the pothole fix, the Baba. That was about a year ago, and up to now. And then we mentioned the Bel Air Road, how the Bel Air Road, the Venus Road, how bad. The engineer said that there is nothing in the pipeline concerning that road and everything. So we said that, okay, then we have to speak to whoever are in charge of and think about the road and everything. So up to now, and if you see the road not even good for us to go in it. So the road is very bad, and then I don't understand that the minister saying that it's a political thing. It's not a political. The road is bad.
And what of the action taken by MP for Castries Southeast, Guy Joseph, who provided a bus to service the area of Bel Air till the road is resurfaced and the strike is over? Henry says the act undermines the strike action being carried out by the association.
I think it's a disrespect to the bus driver, because I mean, if the road need to fix, that's the first thing you're supposed to look at and fix the road, not like to give schedule and everything else. So I find it a disrespect to bus driver.
The strike, which started on September 9th, has moved into the 9th day as of Tuesday, 17th September. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solange Alfred.
This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Still to come, the chief nutritionist says it's time to move on from drinking cow's milk. The SLP wants to know what's the holdup with realigning constituency boundaries, and are you taking mold infestation seriously enough? That and more when we return.